And is charged in the Angie Housman case, but investigators say he may not have acted alone.
It's a big break after 25 years. The 9-year-old was kidnapped from her St. Anne bus stop, later found dead in St. Charles. The man now charged is Earl Cox. This is an old picture on your screen, but for now it's the only one that is available. He faces first-degree murder, kidnapping, and sodomy charges. News Force 2 investigators are focusing on the suspect, but our team coverage kicks off this evening with ALEXIS ZOTOS in St. Charles County. And ALEXIS is in O'Fallon, where the newest information in this cold case is coming from tonight. ALEXIS?
Claire, Steve, here at the St. Charles County Police Department, there are investigators that have lost sleep for decades over this case. Really, this entire community has been impacted, thinking that this day might never come. But they are telling us tonight that the answer that they have been searching for since 1993 is here. Police say Earl Cox is the man that they believe killed and sexually assaulted Angie Housman. It was a man who has a violent sexual criminal history, who lived very close to the little girl and the bus stop where she was abducted from. But police say there are more answers that they need, and that's what they're seeking from the public.
I think that now that we are public with the suspect, not a suspect, a defendant who's being charged with these crimes, I anticipate, as do our investigators, that we're going to get several more leads that might draw a connection between Earl Cox and someone close to Angie.
This is a photo of Earl Cox from 1993, the year police say he abducted, sexually assaulted, and murdered 9-year-old Angie Housman. She lived down the street from him in St. Anne. She was held for 9 days, somewhere in between when she was abducted and when she was found in St. Charles County. Police say that leads them to believe there may be someone else involved in this case. But it was DNA evidence that was found on a piece of Angie's underwear located at the scene where her body was found that allowed investigators to break this case. A forensic scientist found Cox's DNA just this February, all thanks to new technology.
The fact that it took this long for us to be able to use the current technology and do the DNA testing, which gave us the result that we have, that was a blessing in disguise. Had we tested this particular item any sooner than we did, there's a very good chance that nothing would have come about because the technology wasn't advanced enough. And that piece of evidence would have just been put back in its place, and we move on to the next piece, and it never would have been retested.
So here's what happens next. Earl Cox is currently in a medical federal facility in North Carolina. He'll be extradited and brought back here to St. Charles County, where he will face the trial in this case. We asked Tim Millimar today, will he seek the death penalty against Earl Cox? He says right now it's too soon to say, that the death penalty is reserved for the worst of the worst, but he did add that Cox does fit that bill. The other thing that happens next in this case is potentially more charges out of St. Louis County. That's where we're told they are looking into other connections between Earl Cox and other potential victims. Live in St. Charles County, Alexis ZOTOS, News 4.
News 4's Chris NAGUS has just spoken to Angie Housman's stepfather. He continues our live team coverage tonight from WOODSON Terrace.
Claire, good evening. Angie Housman's stepfather, Ron Bone, lives on this street here in WOODSON Terrace. I just talked to him about 20 minutes ago on his front porch. He tells me Angie's mom died a couple of years ago. She agonized every day over her death in the years leading up to her death. Today, I asked Bone his reaction to today's news. Did you watch the news conference today?
I just woke up. I don't know.
What do you think of these charges?
I don't know. I mean, fantastic. They found the guy, but I heard that they ruined me out. You know, I don't have nothing to do with this, and people that know me know that I have nothing to do with this.
When's the last time you talked to police?
A couple months ago, I guess.
And what happened during that conversation?
Not much of anything there, just talking.
Do you know the name Earl Cox?
I don't know who he is, no.
When you saw his picture, did he look familiar?
Sort of, but, you know, you're talking some years back. I could have seen him anywhere. I don't know where I could have seen him from, but I've seen the face like that, yeah.
So at this point, there's only one individual charged with the crime. Do you think there's more than one person involved?
It could be. I mean, I don't know who else could be involved with it, but there could be more people out there.
And the reason Bone had just woken up, he is an overnight trucker, so he does sleep during the day. Now, of interest with this announcement today, he says he was not invited to that press conference. In fact, he tells me he didn't know it was going to happen. I did ask him if Earl Cox is convicted in this crime, should he receive the death penalty? Bone's response, an eye for an eye. Reporting live in Woodson Terrace, Chris Nagus, News 4.